talking with head coach Chuck Wentz of the Kentucky Christian University cross country and track and field program.
That's right.
And then I also have sitting with us today Sierra Sierra Papel, and she told me how to say that properly. So I did it, and that may be the only time, Sierra, that will ever come out correctly. So that's just for your information. Okay, first of all, Chuck, what I'd like to get your thoughts for our viewers is from preseason to where we are currently. Give me some thoughts on a kind of a progress report.
Yeah, so we reported on the 13th and into the 14th of August. So being here almost a month, almost to the date today. We've seen a lot of transition from high school students into their first couple of weeks of college. We also some transfers, and then we do have our 2 sophomores coming back that were here last year. So there's a lot of things coming at them, I think. So the first couple of days was kind of getting them into their new area and being comfortable with it. But fitness-wise and team-wise, there's been a lot of development even in those 3.5 weeks or so. So we're really happy that that's coming around. I think I intentionally kind of had our first meet a little bit later, knowing that we were going to be really young and people coming in. But there's a lot of people that are kind of developing and doing things that I'm not going to say that's a complete surprise, but they might be just a little bit ahead of where we thought they might be at this time in the season.
Well, when you talk about that and transitioning such a young team from the vast majority from high school directly into a college program, has their eyes been wide open, kind of like deer in the headlights?
Yeah, some of them, some more than others. We won't mention names, but some haven't. I think that the women, when they come in from high school, the distance doesn't change. So 5K of them is the same, but guys go from 5K up to 8K. So for them, that's a really big jump. So usually a lot of the eyes wide kind of comes from the men, not so much the women. The women, life changes a little bit, new teammates, things like that. But the guys, they see, I've got 3 more K, almost 2 more miles more than I ran in high school. It kind of opens their eyes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to the first 8K, kind of stepping along with it with our training and our opening race.
Okay. Well, speaking of the opening race, you all ran at WVU Tech this past weekend, and looking at the score or the times, I think I saw progress from last year as far as the guys that were here last year. But what were your thoughts with the performance that your team gave, both men and women up there?
I think one of the positives this year compared to last year is the weather was a lot nicer this year. I think last year we had about 3 rain delays. It was a little sloppy, so this year the weather was a little bit nicer. I think, when you talk in regards to people that ran there last year, Thomas ran about a minute faster, maybe over a minute faster than he did last year, somewhere in that neighborhood. And our younger guys coming through, one of them been injured a little bit with a hamstring injury, but he stepped right up and did well. And then Evan was 4th overall, and James was the 10th collegiate and the 11th overall. There was an unattached person mixing in there. So they did really well. Zach Gross on that back end kind of came in, him and Josh. Josh had that experience. I think Zach kind of worked off that with Josh. And then, like I said, Thomas kind of being the 4 guy there, he had a lot of experience, and it showed. I could see his development, but also some of those younger guys just letting him get after it was impressive on that end. And then, to the girls, there were no girls last year. So getting them in it, Julia, she's from down the road in Winchester. Julia did really well. She's developed really well. And then Sierra mixing in here. It was kind of exciting to watch Sierra get to open up in that race. There were some D2 teams that were supposed to be there previously that weren't, so kind of wish they had been there, but it was still a great field and a great meet for men and women. And Sierra won, set the course record there, so we were excited with that. We're not really going to, rest on that and call it a year, but we think it's a good start getting back to, Sierra where she wants to be, and then getting the program on both ends where we want to be. It was a good positive step forward.
Well, speaking of Sierra's performance, from her time there at West Virginia Tech, obviously it was a good time with reference to the rest of the field. So that's a great starting point. 2 things I want to ask. Talk about her performance, but also with such a young team to have someone with her experience coming in and helping from that standpoint as well.
Yeah, it's great. I intentionally, when when she came here and we went to housing, Bill Baumgartner really helped me out with this. I intentionally put one of the younger girls with her so that they could learn.
Okay.
That they could learn, and then our other younger girls are kind of right now they're kind of neighbors. So I intentionally put one of our younger girls with her to let her know what it's like, not life just with running, but student life and what it looks like to be a serious kind of high caliber student athlete and the to set the tone for what we want moving forward in our future recruits, not just in distance, but track and field, sprints, jumps, and all that, and throws moving into it. We try to identify those things that make someone a serious contender here.
Well, Sierra, let's jump over to your side of the table.
Okay.
And how, coming in here, how are you settling in as far as, like Coach was talking about, just not only to the team aspect and the running, but also, socially or just fitting what Kentucky Christian University is all about?
Yeah, well, when I came here on my visit, I wasn't really sure how I would like it once I got here, and I definitely like it a lot more than I thought I would. Have a lot of friends, and it was pretty easy for me to just slip right in, and all the girls on the team are pretty nice, so I think I'm adjusting really well. I've done this before, so
Yeah.
It's just adjusting a little bit to a different environment.
Right. Well, what do you think, let's go back out to the performance side of things. How do you feel your progress is coming as far as under a new coach and what his demands are as opposed to previous coaching, even philosophies? But how does your progress seem to be mounting up?
Well, I'm definitely progressing. Definitely took some time off before summer, and so getting back into it slowly but surely, and we were definitely on the same page about that. So I'm progressing every week. Coach can attest to that. Definitely, every week you can see a little bit more. It's a little bit more natural, and it's coming. But yeah.
Well, with one event under your belt, so to speak, what are your thoughts as far as the race this past weekend up at West Virginia Tech and your performance there, as far as maybe what you had in mind before the performance, and then how that really stacked up once your time was posted?
Right. I think I ran as well as I could. I did what Coach said. He said get out hard. I got out hard, and then I just ran hard the rest of the race, and I think it went pretty well. It's a good starting point, but back to work from here. So.
If we were to just put that performance in a bubble, in your mind, how much more does Sierra have to give?
I think I have a lot more to give. With a little bit of competition, a little bit more competition, I think I can run a lot faster and be able to compete. I'm looking forward to the meet this weekend in Michigan State. So I think that'll be good. It's a 6K, so it's a little bit more of the distance I'm used to. 4K was a little odd, but I'm excited to keep moving forward.
Good. Now, Sierra, you brought up the meet in Michigan at Michigan State University. Coach, what are your thoughts going up there, and what are you wanting to see accomplished by both squads?
Yeah, so we're going to have kind of a small handful of a group of people we're going to take up there. We got some people, like I said, they have some injuries that are still developing a little bit. I don't want to throw them to the fire right away, but we do have some athletes that, like I said, they're on that page where we want them to be a little bit ahead. So we're going to take them and try to prepare them for the next level in that championship racing. I think when you look at a meet like Michigan State, people probably Michigan State, and that's what they stop at. What they don't see is that there's Grand Valley there. I believe Madonna's there, and they're going to be the number one team. They're the number one team on the women's side, NAIA. You have nationally ranked NAIA teams there. Michigan State, clearly, they're always ranked on both sides. Grand Valley's men and women are always ranked on both sides, and there's also a lot of D3 athletes that come to that race as well, that are All-American or up in there. So we're looking to see where we're at this point in the season. For some of our guys, it'll be their first 8K of their lives, but we're excited to see them go against some of those mid-major schools that come from the MAC, and then some other NAIA schools are going to be there, D2 schools that kind of fit the niche of where we're at and their ability level or where we want them to be. And with Sierra, like she said, she's the only person on the squad that has 6K experience. She ran it previously, but it's been You know, it was a different setting then. I was at the end of the season. It was in the south. This is in the north. We're hoping that we get a little cooler weather. You know, it's really warm right now, but we hope that it holds up. You know, the weather drops a little bit, but you know, we're looking to take people to these bigger meets, and that's not just cross country. You know, track and field as well. We're going to try to get people out there, put them on that stage to be successful, and if they're not successful in their own right, we'll always know walking away that we learned something to better ourselves.
Well, are you excited about going up there and basically running in a distance with which you're more accustomed?
Yeah, I've only run the 6K once, and it was out the Southeast Regional last cross country season, and I'm just excited to get out there and do it again. I think I'm a little bit better at the longer distances, so
Okay. Well, again, thank you for the time, and once again, good luck this coming weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.